Government corruption has never been more prevalent or caused more harm. It's why extremism is on the rise. It's why the financial gap between the haves and have-nots has never been wider. And it's why our planet is at risk of an extinction level tragedy. That's why I need your help to keep exposing the truth about the rot on both sides of the aisle. Become a supporter or a friend of the show today by clicking on the coffee link in the description box below. Friends of the show join me on a Zoom hangout once a month, and you guys can ask me any questions you want, and I can get to know you better. But the most important reason to help is to keep the show alive. Together, we can and will save our country and our planet. Thanks in advance and enjoy the show. Yeah. What was his childhood like?
Pretty unusual. He grew up in a Hispanic household, though his dad was white. Really had basically no contact with him. Every female member of his family of the older generation had married Filipino men. And so the culture in his home was a mix of Hispanic and Filipino, which was really appealing to me because I grew up in this white Mormon culture, and you go into this home with, everyone's loud and talking and cooking, and there's these spices and these neat foods, and it was just different, and it was really appealing to me being a teenager, looking for something different. And but his grandparents had been migrant farm workers, and he spent a lot of time with them in the summers. A lot of traveling, even though his grandparents had retired, that lifestyle of moving with the crops, it left an impact in the younger generations, and so much so that they had a saying in the family, after the grapes, and that is all the things that we're going to do, after the grapes. And it was sort of a joke when his mom got into real estate, and we'll take care of those bills, or we'll go out to dinner, and we'll buy those things after the grapes, meaning when this house sells, so that was an ongoing thing. And the other thing that was sort of different is the whole family were very involved in public speaking. There were a lot of ministers. His mother alternated between being a multi-level salesperson, pyramid scheme person, motivational speaker. She talked a lot about her childhood, growing up with, dirt floors until she was 11 and no running water, and becoming a successful businesswoman. And so a lot of that, but public speaking was a huge part of their lives, and convincing people would speak, and sales pitches. And she would often be the one person that made money in some pyramid scheme. There's everybody wastes their money and has a garage full of crap, and then a few people would make a fortune, and she would make that money, and then she would be dead broke again. So that constant cycle. But a lot of moving. His mother was very abusive.
Like physically abusive?
Yes,
with him,
yeah.
So that's
but
where
he
it
was,
came from.
and he was still very much the golden child, but it still happened. So
Does he have siblings?
Very chaotic. He has two siblings. One's a half sister who's much younger, who I think has tried very hard to live a fairly normal life. His other sister, very close to him in age, less than a year younger than he is, but she unfortunately became pretty brain injured. She was working as a maid and wound up with spinal meningitis. And it was pretty devastating, and it's affected her. She can sort of live on her own, but she requires assistance and that type of thing. So a lot of sad stories leading up to to the making of Stewart. But a lot of people have sad stories, and they don't become terrorists. Or,
Yep. I mean, your kids are doing well, right?
Yeah, they're adjusting. They're in therapy for sure. I
think we all need it.
Yeah, definitely a lot of struggles, and I know I noticed there's a real uptick in nightmares about Stewart for sure, since with the trial looming. So that's definitely we still think we see him everywhere.
Oh wow.
I even just the other day, there was someone who was wearing tan cargo pants and eyeglasses, and he kind of slouched when he walked. And I snapped a picture and profiled to the kids, and I was like,
oh geez,
your mom had a heart attack today. And I sent the picture, and they said, even knowing he's in jail, they just, oh my God, we still do it. We still think we see him.
Wow. And the kids, are they spread out around the country, or any of
No, all
them still
here.
with you, or?
Yeah, my daughter lives about 45 minutes away. My son's like 10 minutes away. And then I have one who's 19. She's still at home, but she works full time and goes to college full time.
Oh,
Pretty
wow.
busy.
Yeah.
Even in the summer. And then I have a 13-year-old and 16-year-old and 8-year-old still.
Oh, wow.
It's a lot. I'm 50, so
Yeah. Wow.
I'm having a hard time keeping up on that.
Wow. Jeez. Now, so you said you split up, you finally got out. It was 2018.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that long ago. And you left with nothing, right? Like you
Pretty
had
much.
pretty
Yeah.
much the clothes on your back.
Yeah. And we did go back to the cabin. Basically, that I don't think he quite understood that I'd been turned down for a protective order 3 times. So he was afraid that I might file for one. And that sort of kept him away from the house where he didn't like to be there anyway, so we did stay there until we had to move. And so, yeah, I mean, I think the only thing we had of any value at all was some of the guns he left behind that I was selling those out of the trunk of a car. We got a car running. Basically I got one of his escape vehicles running because he'd had unregistered cars laying around. One of them wasn't in bad shape. So that,
oh my God.
Got that going.
Yeah, because he was out spending tons of, like, thousands and thousands of dollars on weapons, right? While you guys are living in this tiny shack.
Yeah.
Did I hear correctly that, like, sometimes you didn't even have running water, or your electricity got turned off?
Yeah, all
stuff,
the time. I mean, we were lucky we were on well water, but then you need electricity to pump the water.
Wow.
So yeah, it would often get turned off. And honestly, everything was in such disrepair. The electricity was the least of our worries, honestly. I mean, kids are going to the bathroom in the woods because the one toilet never works. And I mean,
and so they weren't going to school, right?
No.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So what a transition when they finally got out and on their own.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. And
I can't even imagine.
They did so well, they just kind of jumped right in. My one daughter, who's 19 now, I mean, she just jumped right in to junior year of high school. And we did take some time off because we were definitely behind, in schoolwork. I mean, you just can't get anything done.
Yeah.
So the kids were definitely, especially the younger ones. The older ones were able to catch up pretty quick, but it took a little time. So we took some time off, and we learned to be social. We took some dance lessons together and stuff like that, just to be in town and among people. That was one of the hardest parts. But and the kids were behind because you try to do any kind of work with Stewart in the house, and he would just call everybody horrible names and make fun of them and mock them, and to the point of we're just trying to practice the alphabet even without him, and people are crying just at the mention of it, just because it was so distressing. Wow. And then you think, well, he was gone a lot, so you should buckle down and get caught up during those times. But then the psychological of it, we just needed that time. The kids needed that time to just sort of recover. When he went, but once he was
emotionally, psychologically exhausting.
Yeah. So we definitely buckled down as soon as the separation happened. And then that next year they went right into school, and man, I mean, they just have done so well. They're doing sports, and they're all in sports and getting really good grades, and doing all the things. One daughter she just jumped right in. She was she was on the cross country team, and she was 4.0. And
wow, good for her.
And she was voted prom princess and
so
all that kind of stuff.